Hi, everyone. So Josie here and Adam here again with Rock Bottom Hope, podcast view from the bottom. Today, we actually wanted to discuss something that was on Adam's heart. I'm titling it Finding Purpose in Rock Bottom. You want to take it from here, podcast host?
You'll get that. Yeah, no. So we're praying. What should we talk about today? And I've noticed the Lord kind of like as I was praying, I was like, the same kind of conversation has been happening in the past, like probably quite a bit in the past month, in different facets, and it was purpose, right? And I've noticed there are people that are like, I don't know what my purpose is, whether it's in the Lord or even if they don't have the Lord, like I don't have a purpose. And then I look at people that are with the Lord, and they're sitting there going like, I'm trying to chase him and nothing's adding up. And then you have other people that just fall in. It just, he kind of guides. So I think it's a very interesting topic that I wanted to bring up for sure and kind of encourage everybody.
Yeah, I know when you mentioned it on the phone, like one of the biggest things that I kept thinking about was like all the different types of rock bottom that are out there and all the different like reachings of purpose that are out there, like whether you're looking for your career purpose, your God-given purpose, like purpose and why are you at this rock bottom right now? Like just so many different things. And so I was like, this is going to be interesting. I'm really excited to see where this is going to go. But I'll be honest, like right now, I've been watching all of our like podcasts and stuff that we've been doing, and I had the crazy eyes in almost every single one of them. And I'm like trying to like consciously not have those crazy wild Indian eyes. So I'm like, all right, guys, you're gonna have to like let me know what that looks like later, because
We'll edit your eyes down.
yeah, well,
You
like
on it?
yeah,
He's
you,
on
you
it.
got it. We're gonna squinch it down just a little bit, just a little bit, because yeah, they keep doing that crazy wild Indian thing, and I'm like, calm it down, Jesse.
You want to know the truth? The last one. Okay, this is off topic, but
Yeah, that's okay.
well, actually on topic. But so I started watching The Life of David, on Amazon, and it's not a plug for the show. It's actually, my opinion, it's not great. There was a lot of filler. But the one thing that I think that goes to this topic is like his father's like just push it. I should really stick to real truth and biblical stuff, but
Hmm.
this one I'm just referring to the show, so don't hate on me. But anyways, his father's just like, you're just gonna be in the hurting the shepherds, like you're a little like unknown boy, this that and the other, and like he's sitting there screaming like I have a purpose, you can see
Yeah.
it deep down in that, and then by episode whatever, sorry, spoiler alert, but if you read the Bible you'll know it anyways, but like he becomes anointed,
Hmm.
um, and like his father, you could just see it, and he's like, "No," like I was, like you could tell the father's like, "Yo, I was wrong," but like David knew, like I have a purpose, and it's bigger than this. Like God really filled him,
Yeah.
and I think that's biblical. You can see that,
Yeah.
and that's where my mind has been. It's like a lot of us feel like we're made for so much more,
Yeah.
and I think some of the people that are watching this, that are really supportive of rock bottom hope and everything, I think they're stuck in this dark place, and they're like
Mm.
they're so overwhelmed by their addiction or circumstances that they can't see the hope yet,
Yeah.
and it's like, man, what would you do? Like, to me, I have to ask myself, like, when I was going through, it's like, what would I have given to be out of my, like, my rock bottom, to be in my purpose? And I know at that time it'd be like, oh, I'd give everything.
Hmm.
I'd give the drugs away, I'd give the all this away, but I couldn't, because I didn't see, I never saw the hope,
Yeah.
right? And I also didn't have Jesus in my life, right? And
Yeah.
so, luckily, once I started chasing Jesus, he just kept opening the doors where I needed to go, and that's
Without
where,
Jesus, there's no hope.
right? Well, I don't know. I mean, you look at successful people, right? I'm talking in a worldly standard,
Yeah.
right? And they like Elon Musk clearly has a purpose, right? Like,
Right.
but and I don't want to. I'm not trying to judge him. I don't know what his life is or his faith is, right? But he's got a purpose.
Yeah.
Um, so I think obviously, yeah. How do I want to phrase that? Without Jesus, you might not have a truly God-driven purpose, right?
Yeah.
But um,
I
Yeah.
said hope, not purpose.
Oh, so whatever.
Yeah, it's very
I'm
different.
listening to myself in the microphone.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, you sound good in the microphone. Don't worry about it. It's funny though that you brought the life of David up though, because I know like right now, I mean, I think it's First Samuel that talks a lot about like
Yeah.
that whole story. That's where I'm at right now. I actually just finished it, and when I think about David's life, I also compare it to because Joseph, the life of Joseph, is the one that keeps coming up for me. And just like every time I talk to other people who don't even know me, they're like, "You should study Joseph." Like God is telling me that his story is your story, right? And he has a lot of rock bottoms too, and all of those rock bottoms at the end of it, like he ends up coming out on top, right? And so I guess a part of like what I think about when you're talking about all of that is just how we all hit those crazy rock bottoms. And I think my biggest rock bottom was whenever I was in the like deep like depression and drug addiction and practically not really even prostitution because I was doing it for free. But I mean like I was in a very dark cycle, and so that was a rock bottom, but God pulled me out of that. And I've been able to use a part of that story, and I see the purpose in it because I've met actually people who are currently prostituting and are going through recovery right now, and I'm able to kind of speak into that, and same thing like the drug addiction part, that was a rock bottom where I'm meeting all these other people, talking to these people who are in recovery, and they're like, well, how do you continue to push through it? And my answer is always like, I mean, and it looks different for everyone, right? But mine is Jesus. Like I was blessed enough to be able to say that, God met me where I was and helped me get through all of that. But because I hold on to now, like I don't want people to look at me and be like, oh, well, here's this person who claims to be a Christian, but like, what is she doing, with her life? And I don't want to disappoint Jesus, at the end of the day. Like, that's my purpose. Like, I want people to look at me and be like, that girl knows God, you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
You reminded me of one of the songs I really enjoy, but one of the main parts of it is like, I can't let you down because I was never holding you up. And it's referring to God. It's like, you're not holding him up. Well, you
Yeah.
can't let him down, right?
Right.
Like, I don't know. I mean, obviously we can anger him. He can be saddened by it, but it's like he's God.
Yeah.
He knows everything and everything. But anyways, um, yeah. What do you do though when you don't know what your purpose is? Like, what's the steps?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's obviously different for everyone. There's the worldly steps and then there's the biblical steps, But I mean, I think it really just depends on where you start at. I know for me, it was hitting a very dark rock bottom and realizing like God saved me in it, right? And so I think my steps were I don't want to be here again. I think I've reached the lowest of low. And the next thing, I mean, like, because it was literally life or death. Like, I should have died.
Mm,
Right. And it's like, I don't want to die. And so I think the first step for me was choosing to live,
mm,
choosing to want to live,
mm.
and I think that's step number one. I mean, from there, I think it just looks very different. That's a question with very many different answers, and none of them are wrong, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, what would you say?
Um, I would still say it's a choice, but I would say my thing is I think you need to choose to step out, right?
Mhm.
And
Get off the
what
boat.
what does that mean to you guys, or whoever's listening? Like, you gotta get out. You gotta get out of your house. You gotta get out of your comfort zone, whatever it is. And the first thing you might find is like it's a brick wall, right? You're like, oh, this isn't it, right? But then keep going because you're gonna meet people at like that. You went. Let's say you went and started helping like a food bank, right? And
Right.
you're like, I just don't want to do this, right? It's like, okay, but who did you meet at that food bank? You might have met somebody that's also involved with this other ministry, and you're like, I'll go check that out,
Yeah.
right? And eventually, if you just keep doing that, it's not gonna be long before like the Lord really. And if you're asking the Lord, like, God, I need you to show me,
Yeah.
like, I need you to open some stuff up, man, people will just all of a sudden, coincidentally, right? Just show up in your yeah,
Coincidentally.
right.
Yeah.
He puts people in your path, and you're like,
Yep.
oh, um, and I think I don't know. I've probably talked about it, but that's the same thing. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. I was going through a faith-based like recovery program region,
Region.
and that's where I ended up meeting Josie. and she hated me,
I
and
didn't hate
you
you.
know,
I just
but the Lord
didn't
was like,
like you a
he
lot.
specifically put us together, right? Like she didn't know it, but like he put us together, and through that, she introduced me to like the foster care system,
Mm.
and that's where I ended up, just volunteering, and literally our job there was just to feed these kids on Sundays.
Right.
Like that was it. They're like, don't talk to them. There's all these rules, like don't talk to them, don't sit with them. And like day one, like I'm sitting with them and I'm like, hey guys, and I was like, what are they gonna fire me? Like I'm doing this for free. But anyways, the kids really connected with me, and that's
Yeah.
when I kind of knew I was like, oh okay,
Yeah.
like this is, and it really did bring a lot of joy to me. I really enjoyed like just messing with them, like treating them like they were normal,
Yeah.
because they are
They
normal,
are
but they're
normal.
often, if you do anything in the foster world, like they treat them like they're like these weird creatures, and it's like, some of these kids just need to be treated like kids, and
Yeah.
and they'll snap right out of it.
Yeah.
Because they know how to play the system too. They're smart.
Well, yeah, they're
They're
no
they're
doubt.
they're,
They've been in there long enough.
they're
Yeah.
they're shiesty little kids, but like
But you love them though. You love them.
sometimes you just gotta. I'm not gonna say that. That would have to get that out. I was gonna say sometimes you gotta choke slam them, and just let them know, but you don't
With
do
your
that
words,
with love.
lovingly.
With love.
Kind.
But anyway, we'll edit that out. He did it. He gave me the thumbs up.
Yeah.
We're editing it out.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Okay. Later on, when you see this on
no,
YouTube.
but hey, one of the, I can't name names, but one of those kids nearly took me out this Sunday. Like he's a stocky little kid, and
Yeah.
like he's only like 12, and
Yeah.
he just straight up ran at me, and I didn't see it coming, and I nearly got face planted in church, but luckily Jesus was there, so
Yeah.
we made it.
It's so funny
But they're
that you
good.
segued into like the foster care stuff because I feel like when we were first starting to have like the conversations, that was the one that just kept coming up in my mind. I was like foster care, foster care. But then it took me back to the memory when we were going to bridge camp for the first time last
Mm.
year. And I'm so used to like having a purpose, and being used. And I'm over there and I'm like, what can I do? And how can I help? And no one was like using me. And I was like, I have no purpose.
Mm.
And I felt so lost. And I remember sitting there on the couch, just staring out the window. And I'm just like so upset and just all up in my head and just, doing the Josie, wallowing in my sorrow thing.
Mhm.
And then I'm looking out the window and who I can't say their names,
Yeah.
but like I ran into the kids that my elementary best friend that we grew up together, who she lost her kids to the system because she lost her mind to drugs, lost her life to drugs, and just chose all the wrong things. And I saw them, and I was like, that's the purpose, right there. Was like just lifting up those kids and just reminding them that there's normal, and there's people that care and that love them. And that was my purpose that day, even though I was being really selfish and looking at like, well, use me, use me, use me. Why aren't you using me? Like, it wasn't my time yet.
Yeah, I love how you edited that like really well, because she was having a meltdown.
No,
Like she was like full disclosure,
Hardcore.
she was like pulling me aside. She's like, I'm leaving. I'm not doing this, and
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going like, I'm brand new at this too. I'm like, hey, I can't watch you, Josie. Like I have to do like, because I was watching over these two young kids, and I was like,
No.
yeah,
When we were at the camp, I did not. It was when
No, it
we
was
were
before.
at the church.
Yeah, yeah.
At the church,
Yeah.
then
Full
yes.
meltdown.
I was having a full meltdown. I was like,
meltdown.
what's the point in me being here? They don't need me here. I'm just wasting space. Like, I just
Yeah.
need to go.
And I think I was just like, hey, Josie, calm down. Like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Lord brought us both here for a reason.
Yeah.
And like not 5 minutes later, like she comes up and she's like, I see what it is. Like God
Yeah.
just, dude, it was a wild day. Like,
It was.
but that's one of those things that it probably grew you in that moment. You're probably like, you're used to maybe overreacting and that, but now you're like, man, what's the point in overreacting? Like you have become a lot better at that. Like,
A lot
because I'm not going to get into your story, but like, I've seen you in the same situation twice, and one of them, the one that's current, right?
Yeah.
You're handling it very differently than you did
Yeah.
last time.
It's a different
Um,
rock bottom.
Right, but that's how God grows us. It's not easy.
Different
You
view.
stretch. He stretches you, and it
Yeah.
hurts, and it's not fun. And like, it makes us aware of our flaws
Yeah.
that He wants to like tone down or correct or adjust. Right.
It's a different perspective.
How'd we get on this? It's
I
supposed to
have
be
no
our
idea.
purpose.
Well, I mean, I guess it still kind of is about your
It
purpose.
is.
Yeah. I mean, like when you're talking about like your different rock bottoms that you hit, because you always hit a rock bottom, even
Yeah.
when you're walking, a good straight narrow path, like chasing after the Lord. I mean, like I don't have a job right now,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my God, like I'm freaking out. It's a scary place to be in, but I have faith,
Yeah.
and
And that's the big difference. If
yeah,
you didn't know Josie before, like she she is, and she's not just saying that just to say that. Like
yeah.
we talk about it quite a bit, and and I believe it. Like God'll get her through.
Yeah. But that's the purpose in rock bottom. The last time God was preparing me because he was going to put me in another very similar position.
Mm-hmm.
And I needed to know how to handle it because it was going to open up other doors in that waiting period. Last time I would have been just doing all the other crazy stuff again. But this time I know that, God is faithful and he's got me through it last time and it was good. And so this time I'm patiently waiting and I'm doing all the things and I'm taking all the classes. If I was still working right now, I would not be as deep in as I am in those classes to be able to have my
Mm.
kid home sooner.
Yeah.
I wouldn't,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, that's the purpose
Yeah.
right now in that rock bottom.
Yeah. I would say go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say go into it with no expectations, but high hope.
Yeah.
Right. If you're just chasing the Lord and you're like, I don't know my purpose, but if you're
Yeah.
going fully aware that God is just gonna, so I guess this is a good time to bring it up because I was thinking, I was like, what is a Bible verse that reflects this?
Yeah.
And so obviously I Googled, but anyways, in Jeremiah, which this is in out of context, right? There's a whole context about the Jewish nation and sending them to Babylon and this. But anyways, if you look at Jeremiah, what is this? 29:11, it says, "For I know the plan," and this is famous, right? "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord." Plans. This is ESV version, but plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. And then 12 is, then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will hear you. Right? You will seek me, and I will find you when you seek me with all your heart. And that's one of my favorite. Actually, 12 is more my favorite because it's like, God, you told me to seek you, and I'm seeking you. I'm seeking you with all my heart. And I think anybody that's sitting there, like, whether you're a non-Christian or a Christian and you're struggling, it's like, are you truly seeking the Lord? And what does that mean to you? Well, ask the Lord. Like, ask him, I'm trying to seek you, God. Like, and what does that look for? I think it looks different in everybody's view.
Yeah.
But if you're not reading the Bible, you're not praying, you're not doing anything, you're not seeking him.
Yeah.
Right? It takes effort, right? It's a relationship
Yeah. 100%.
between you and God. And, if you call your boy or if you never call your boyfriend or girlfriend, don't expect to like all of a sudden like show up and be like, "Hey, will you help me with this?" Like, dude, I haven't seen you in
Yeah.
2 months. Like, I don't even know who you are. Like,
Right.
you gotta talk to the Lord, and He wants to talk to us. Like, He
Yeah.
wants to like. This is the same thing when I was driving here today. I was like, God, what am I going to talk about today? How can I glorify Your name? What would be something that I should, speak about? And really, like, there's just too many stories in the past month that was all based on purpose.
Yeah.
And so I think probably one person will watch this and be like, yeah, I need to find a purpose. So get out there, pray to the Lord, get out there and find something to do.
Yeah.
And
Knock on the doors.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what I always call it. That's one of the things I always tell you is like, if you want something to happen, if you want the Lord to work, you got to start knocking on those doors. He can't open a door if you're not knocking on it.
yeah, she says that to me
Yeah,
a
I've said
lot.
that. Yes, I did.
And
Yes,
now
I
I'm on
did.
a
And look at
podcast.
that. Yeah.
Now I'm on a
And
podcast.
yeah, you knocked on the doors after like a year of me like just drilling it into you. And the door opened finally, and that's the biggest thing. It's the other one of the biggest sayings that I always say is you can't pray for an A and do the work of a D, Like if you're not doing your part, the door's not going to open. If you're asking for a purpose, how can you find your purpose if you're sitting on your couch?
Yeah. But I just think I guess my mind always goes back to like when I was so lazy and so drug driven and just depressed and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, what would have been a hopeful or encouraging message to me in that moment? And it's just like I can't think of one other than just give God a shot. Just do it. Like cry out by yourself, cry out to him and be like, God, I don't even know who you are. Cause that's what I said. I was like, God, I don't even know who you are. But
Yeah.
I keep hearing that you're the one I need to go to. So here I am, show up, and went to church, and that was the end of my rock bottom, really.
Yeah.
My worst parts, anyways. So I encourage anybody listening to this, like, dig deeper.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Get uncomfortable.
yeah, it'll be uncomfortable,
Yeah. Get uncomfortable.
but you will find a purpose if you
Yeah.
go out there and you're meeting people and like some. And I guess so. We're both pretty outgoing.
Yeah.
So I guess for people that are more reserved or shy,
Mhm.
ask a friend to join you, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I want to go. Like most of your friends, they're not doing anything anyways. They're watching Twitter videos and like they're scrolling.
On
They're
TikTok.
trust me that like catch them in a moment right before that,
Yeah.
like get them to go with you and like go. And they might not care at all. Like
Mm-hmm.
you'll never see them again, but that one moment of them getting you there, right? Whatever it takes, right?
Yeah.
Don't use your bashfulness or introvert, side. Don't use that as an excuse. Like,
Yeah.
get out there and do it.
Yeah.
It'll be worth it.
Yeah. So much of that, like going out to like the BD world, business development. I'm very outgoing. I
Yeah.
can be very outgoing, but you put me in a place where I know no one. I am a fly on the wall and I'm hiding in a corner, just like looking at everyone, people watching, trying to figure out like, is this place safe? And it took me remembering, like realizing, not remembering, but realizing like every person out here is probably feeling just like me. We're all out here trying to do the exact same thing. So it's just like, get uncomfortable, take that leap. And oh my God, will you realize like how many other people are just like, I was waiting for you to talk to me.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know how to start that conversation.
Mm.
I didn't know how to talk about it. It just opens up so many more doors for you. And now they're always reaching out to me, like, especially in this layoff, like, how are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
How can we help? Have you found a role? You know, heck, I'm supposed to be like when you're in an association, once you are no longer with the company that's a part of that association, you're no longer in there. They're still reaching out to me and they allowed me to stay as remain a
Yeah.
member, a part of their committees and everything else, all because I was 100% like raw and real about who I am and, the struggles and just helping, you know? So if nothing else, even in the BD world, that was my purpose.
Business development.
Oh yeah. Business development. Sorry. I
I don't
forget.
speak your language.
Not everyone does. I mean, what about you? Like, I'm curious, anyways, in like the new job that you're in right now. I know when I first asked you, you were like, "Oh, I see now why I'm here." So, kind of dig into that.
Yeah, so it's new. I'm not gonna mention too much of it,
Mm.
because I'm not comfortable yet. But so I work with. We were saying I started helping foster kids in the church, so it was more of a hobby, right? Or I don't know what to call it, a passion, or it brought a lot of joy to do that. But that transferred into my actual career.
Yeah.
So now I run a home that's aged out, so older foster men that are just, I mean, I don't want to get too far into it. I don't have enough time, but eventually we can. But
Yeah.
they really throw these foster kids to the wolves. It's like, oh, you're 18, nah, figure out life. It's like they don't know anything, right? And they never had parental guidance. They had no guide at all, and then they're just thrown out to the streets. And so, you look at the statistics where it's like 80% of them are going to be homeless, drug addicted, or sex trafficked. Or in prison, right? That's
Yeah.
80%. That's a massive number
Yeah.
of foster kids. So anyway, so that's what we do. The place that I work at, it is to develop these young men, so they're not on the streets, they're not on drugs, they're not on that, and it's to develop, encourage, and
Right.
build them into something. So they've had awesome success stories coming out of it. They brought me on, and so I think the future will tell how I'm doing. I think I'll do great. I've got a lot of stories about how the Lord really led me into this job.
Yeah.
So I believe the Lord is helping my hand, and He's already developed me to be able to like be equipped to do these kind of things. But yeah, it's awesome. That is where my purpose is now. So, and we were talking about that. Oh, go
Just to get back to the question, though, you didn't actually
purpose.
answer the question.
I answered it my way.
No, we messaged and you were like, I understand now why I'm here. What was that aha moment? What was
Oh,
that was like, that's my purpose. That's why I'm here.
I was vacuuming.
Your purpose is to get there and vacuum.
Like
That was your
these
aha
floors
moment.
are dirty and I need to vacuum.
They needed a housemaid.
They
That's my
needed me
purpose.
so bad. They stink. Just kidding. If there are any of them watching, but they do.
They know your sense of humor,
No.
I'm sure, by now.
It was. We got an. So some of the guys have been there for a while, right?
Yeah.
And with them being there for a while, they're harder to crack into, right? They know the program, they know all that. So I'm just the new guy that comes in. So I have to slowly develop with them, and it was taking a while, right? And still some of them, I still haven't connected with some of them.
Yeah.
But we got a new guy in, and that's when I got to see how I'm going to develop, like
Right.
the upcoming guys that roll through here, or roll through that program, and like him and I are just, it's exactly what I imagine, right? Like it's a mentor relationship where I'm not just doing everything for him, right? Like we have to create somebody that can go and live on his own. So it's not like, hey, I'm gonna do this for you and this for you. No, it's like, hey, let's talk about this. What's your goals?
Yeah.
Where are we going with this? And just really developing him and kind of challenging him on some of his viewpoints as far as because they have to create their own. They don't have a an older male most of the time, right? That
Yeah.
that will help them. Like, hey, you probably shouldn't get in a fist fight, because
Yeah.
they stepped on your sneaker, right? So they have to develop these things, and what are they getting taught by? They're getting taught by like YouTube and all that, and it's the it's the worst information ever.
Yeah.
So he's very receptive, and he's very he enjoys the conversations, the long version conversations, and so that's where we can. And he had a very strong opinion on something, and I just challenged him on it. And as we were talking through it, he goes, "Yeah, I think you're probably right on this one. I think we should probably." And it was like, most people would have like heard him say what he was saying. They're like, "No, no, like you
Yeah.
can't do that." But to him, it was 100% right, and nobody had ever really questioned him on it.
Yeah.
So when I finally did, he's like, "Oh yeah, I probably shouldn't, do stuff like that." And
Yeah.
and that's when I was like, "That's all they need is just." And it's not an aggressive challenging. It's just okay. And if he really came to the conclusion of like I'm not changing, it's like, well, you're gonna suffer consequences
Yeah.
if you do certain things, but don't say you weren't warned.
Yeah.
But as I grow with these guys and they maybe respect me more or understand where my heart is, I think it'll be easier for me to be like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. But anyways, that's where my purpose is. But I didn't know that. Like, if you
Yeah.
would have asked me 2 years ago, or 2 or 3, whatever, however long ago it was, like coming out of that, it's like, what do you think you're gonna do? This was not in the plans, right? Like, I had these grandiose ideas of like, oh, once I fix my addiction and once I get out of this, like, oh, I'm gonna do all these good things. It's like the truth is like I was failing at all that, right? They were just pipe dreams, and it's like you got to actually go out and start doing that. And if you do that with the Lord, like it might not be, it could be the Lord
Yeah.
could still push you exactly where you thought you would be. But if he doesn't, have faith, because just like Jeremiah 29 says, he's like, my plans are to prosper you and bring you joy.
Yeah.
Like he's not gonna like, I'm gonna make you work hard. Well, you're gonna work hard, but anyways, like I'm not just gonna punish you the rest of your life. He's like, no, I want you to have an abundant life.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to get that is through a relationship with him.
Yeah. Well, and I think, too, just to kind of like get ready to wrap this up though, but like when he says prosper you, right? Or I think the other version was wealth or something like that. It's not like I'm going to give you a big, beautiful house and all this property.
Yeah, it's not money
like,
related.
no, it's not.
No.
It's of course for the kingdom. So it's the promise of, once you're with him, but it's also like, what do you really need in life, right? He's the provider of what you need. And so a roof over your head, food on the table, clothes. It's not going to be luxurious clothes. That's not what he promises.
It could be, but
it could be, yeah. But
that's not the point.
That's the point. It's like, it's not all these big voluptuous whatever stuff that the world offers you. You know what I mean? It's just it's like the little things. It's like, God, thank you that I have food on the table. Thank you that I have clothes on my back. Like, thank you that I have a roof over my head, even if it's a tent. There's some people that don't even have that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the word prosper can be taken so many different ways, but that's not it. Oh, and look at that, 33 seconds. So to wrap it up, guys, just a reminder, like he said, I mean, there is hope at the bottom. There is purpose at the bottom. Like, don't give up. Like, keep on pushing forward. Keep on striving and really seek God. You know, if not, even if you don't believe, like give them a chance, give them a shot, let them surprise you.
Yeah.
You know, ultimately, that's kind of where it's at. And if nothing else, call us.
Yep.
We're here.
Stop letting your rock bottom hinder you.
Exactly.
Get rid of it.
You don't have to stay there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Break.
Yeah.